Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today here in my design studio. In this episode, I am going to show you how to decorate your styrofoam letters with silk flowers and Spanish moss so that you turn this into this. First thing I do is I take my styrofoam letter. This one happens to be 12 inches tall by 2 inches thick. And you want a good thickness to this type of letter because you're going to be adding this moss and you want it to make a really bold statement. I've already gone ahead and painted my letter using this acrylic craft paint that I got at the craft store, and I used a spongy brush to apply the paint. And so it just comes out nice, and I like to paint it the green before I put the moss on, just in case you can see through the moss. You won't see white styrofoam. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to take some of my moss, and I'm just going to take some of my moss, and what I usually do is I just pull off a little section of the moss and I roll it around into like a little bit of a ball, and then I'm just going to hot glue it into the inside of my letter. I like to do the inside first of the letter, and I'm just going to glue it right onto the letter. It's like a little bird's nest in there, all that moss in there. This moss, I have to be really honest with you, it is super messy, and this job is definitely time consuming. So give yourself some time to put together these letters, especially if they're for a wedding. You want them to look absolutely perfect. And you just keep going around your letter. Careful not to burn yourself. Sometimes the glue is a little hot. Don't make it too hot or it will melt your foam also. Definitely be generous with the moss for demonstration purposes. I'm not going to be too crazy about the moss, only because it is really time consuming, and this video would end up being a very long, boring video because you'd have to watch me like cover every little square inch of the letter with this with the moss. So like I said, just take your time. So it is messy, but take your time and make sure you cover all the little spots. Then I am going to attach my flowers. You can use any kind of flowers. Because this is for a wedding, I'm chosen to use roses. And these are the initials of the bride and groom, my letter. I'll take my pretty roses here, my little flowers, and I'm just going to pop them off of the stems. Just pull off the bud. You can even buy these just buds. You don't have to buy your flowers with the stems. These just happen to come that way, and I had them. So take your flower, hot glue it. Hot glue the back of your flower, and you're just going to press that right onto your letter here. And your rose should cover the whole front of this letter. Remember, the letter is 2 inches thick, but the front of it is not. You don't want your letters to be the front of them to be too thick, otherwise it will take a lot of flowers to cover the front of your letter. So be careful when you are choosing the styrofoam letters. If you would like to purchase these letters, the styrofoam letters, you can get them through Styroscript.com. I will place a link in the description box below. And as you can see, this is coming together nicely, and when we're all done with the letter, it's going to look like this S. The other thing I did with this particular piece was I added a base. This base is 24 inches long. It's, let's see, how thick is it? It's 12 inches wide, and it's 2 inches thick. So this is actually 2 pieces of 1-inch foam, and I show you how to make a base in some of my other videos, so I will put a link to that video that you can actually watch how to create your base. So this is 2 inches thick, it's 12 inches wide, and it's 24 inches long, and it fits 2 of these initials just perfectly for the bride and groom. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of learning how to decorate your styrofoam letters using silk flowers and Spanish moss to make these beautiful initials for a bride and groom. So thanks for joining me today here in my design studio, and I'll see you guys next time.